Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee, the ClimateViewer Guy with Facts Minus Fear Porn, and I spent the last 2 days working on ClimateViewer 3D, and I want to show you some of the new cool toys over on ClimateViewer.org. So I want to just, before I get started, remind everybody that everything you're about to see is free of charge, open source, and all I ask is that you, if you feel it in your heart and you appreciate what I'm doing, support my work on patreon.com/climateviewer, or give a one-time donation on PayPal or GoFundMe. That'd be greatly appreciated. So we got a brand new ClimateViewer 3D. I went through the entire website, had to update it to a newer version of Hugo. Basically, I'd been working on an old version for quite some time, and I'm trying to get more atmospheric monitoring stuff in the Earth Monitor section. So please, when you're watching this video, leave a comment. If you guys have a website that I haven't seen, I'm gonna harass Mike Morales tomorrow for all the links that he uses in his videos, so that I can include every single one of those in one app. I have most of them already, but he has a couple that I haven't seen before that I'd like to include. But regardless, let's check out the brand new ClimateViewer 3D. So if you go to climateviewer.org, you don't start out on the 3D map. You start at the front page. So we'll just start there real quick. Normally when you come to climateviewer.org, you're going to be on the mobile map. And it's going to have a pop-up in your face. And it's going to show, a little bit about it. It says, prefer a 3D globe, try out ClimateViewer 3D. So you can either click there or over here switch to 3D globe, or on the full screen map thing right here to switch to the 3D. The thing is, in order to use the 3D, you have got to have a 3D video card. You have to have WebGL support. So that's why I moved the mobile map to the front page, because a lot of people were going to the map and getting a black screen and then messaging me going, hey, what the heck, this thing doesn't even work. So of course I don't want that to happen. So, that's why I've moved the mobile to the front page. You click on new maps, it'll show you the latest maps that I've added, and you can click on the sections. I updated the Doppler radar stations like I was talking about in the last video. My thyroid is kicking ass lately. I've been very stoked about it. I don't know if you caught the video recently, but I've had 2 blood draws in the last 3 months, and both of them said my thyroid was perfect, which is freaking amazing. I did a GoFundMe. I reached out to everybody. I said, send me all the information you can. Hell, if I can learn this much about weather modification and geoengineering, after having Graves' disease for 9 years and doing absolutely nothing about it, it only took me 2 months to really figure this out. And I am so freaking overjoyed that, I've got my weight back up. I was stuck at 135 pounds. I couldn't gain a pound. And I got back up to 160, which is a little over what I'm normally. I've been 155 pounds since I was 15 years old. So, I was like, wait a minute. I hope I don't start getting fat on all you guys. Because, the highest I've ever been when I was working in a prison, there was 450-pound Hawaiians in there. So I was lifting weights and taking weight gainer. I was 190 pounds. You'd have to see it to believe it. There's actually a photo of it on my GoFundMe. GoFundMe.com/fixmythyroid. You can see Big Jim and Little Jim, to say the least. I got down to 125 when I was first diagnosed. But yeah, man, everything's really done a 180. My thyroid stimulating hormones were at a 20, and now they're in a normal range, which is a first. In 9 years it hasn't been that way. And yeah, I'm working out, doing a lot of things. I bought a Muay Thai kickboxing 6-foot bag. Just a lot of things. Quit drinking so much coffee. I quit coffee altogether, but now I'm back to having a little bit. So, but quit gluten, quit dairy, quit bread. No cheese. God, that's killing me. But basically it comes down to Epstein-Barr virus, EBV, or mono. And if you feed your mono, it will attack your thyroid. This is true of Graves' disease, which is hyperthyroid or hypothyroid. I've been feeling better than ever. And I've been off my medication for methimazole, tapazole, whatever you want to call it, for 6 months now, and I have never felt better. So very stoked about that. Glad you asked. I did a video on it a little while ago. But yeah, feeling like a champ, man. Pretty freaking awesome. And I love coffee too, Kenley. Oh, I love coffee. I just have to limit it to a minimum. Lots of green tea. Oosh. All right, so back to the actual website. So come to the front page of the website. I'll pop this banner out of you guys' faces for now, just so we can really look at everything. It'll have instructions right here. If you click on that, there's a tutorial video. Click play on that thing. It'll fire it up, and I've got a initial, like 3, tutorial video that'll walk you through everything and latest updates to the software. I did a whole lot and forgot to even put the updates in here. But regardless, you're about to see them. So, biggest new thing. If you guys haven't seen the Earth monitor yet, I've really updated this thing. So, all of these are websites that aren't currently on ClimateViewer 3D. Okay? So if you click on, say, Disaster Alert Center, it'll pop up a window. It'll take you to the Pacific Disaster Center and load that bad boy up for you, and you can see all the stuff from it. To close it, either hit the X down here or just click anywhere on the sidebar. It'll go away. That's simple. The thing that Mike Morales is using in all of his videos is NASA EODIS Worldview. So you can click Worldview on ClimateViewer 3D and use that bad boy right there on ClimateViewer 3D. What up? So pretty stoked about that. Got a lot of new stuff in here. This is EU MetView, the European version of Worldview. But you don't even really need to use this. I just included it just for the heck of it, because if you go to, I'm going to do this on ClimateViewer 3D because I'd much prefer to be in Thread Day. If you go to Add Maps and you go to other satellites and you go to EU METSAT, you can actually see that I've made image previews of what every single map looks like. And you can bring those up like so. So you can just click on that and it'll bring it up on the globe. Hit the little, follow the little flashing lights, hit the minus button, and it's out of your way. And then you can zoom in and it'll, I believe this is cloud top heights. Yeah, cloud top heights is what I got up on the screen right now. But you can see that all across the Pacific or the Indian Ocean all the way up into Europe. So EU METSAT covers that side of the globe, and the GOES stuff covers the other side. And then, of course, the NASA stuff covers it all. So, let's see here. Let's go back. So, like I was saying, everything on EU MetView is already on ClimateViewer 3D built in. But regardless, you can see the Go16 stuff from College of DuPage. You can pop it up. Does the same thing. It's going to pop up like this, but of course it's nighttime, so you're not going to see much on it. Let me reset my view to default. Now some of these, because they have security measures on their website, especially government websites. They will not allow me to do this pop-up iframe thing I'm doing. So what I have to do is do it in a pop-up. And I'll give you guys an example of this. So this is the Go 16 from RAMMB Sierra at the CSU. And what it's going to do is pop it up in a freaking pop-up window. And as you can see, it's a window all to itself. But regardless, you can maximize that thing and you can zoom in. And this is the really cool Go 16 view. And it's got animation controls on it on the side and everything. And what I like about ClimateViewer 3D is that I don't have to go hunting through hundreds of websites to look stuff up. I can quickly do it all from one website. That's what I'm trying to build here. God, that's beautiful. And you can change all of the stuff over here from geocolor to, you know, dust, fire temperature, or, you know, sulfur dioxide, all that stuff. You just click the button, it'll fire it back up and take another shot, start loading the animations. You can set the length and duration of the animations, yada yada. So that's just satellite imagery. It also has the Go 17, the Himawari B, and the Joint Polar satellite system on just that RAMDB version there. So this is from the other side of the globe. Pretty fancy stuff, all animated. Tons of fun. So I've got the RSO EDIS is on there. If you guys have never been there, you obviously are missing out. So this is where all of the latest disasters occur. Click on one and it'll tell you, you know, by epidemic hazard at Asheville Waldorf School in Asheville, state of North Carolina. Things like that. You scroll down, it'll tell you all the latest events that have happened. Epidemic hazard, Democratic Republic of Congo. I can guarantee you that's Ebola. You click the little details button right here and it'll take you to it, and it'll probably say that it's Ebola. Hemorrhagic fevers, yeah. H5N1 bird flu, dengue hemorrhagic fever, Marburg virus, Ebola virus, hantavirus. Great day. I would not want to be in Congo right now. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty sad for Congo, obviously. Global incident map. I'll zoom this in a little bit so you guys can read it a little easier. But there's a lot here that I've included, including ClimateViewer reports. ClimateViewer reports is your way to report your own information. If you haven't given it a try, please do. You can hit submit reports, and it'll take you over to the CV reports website. Give it a title. I saw a fireball. Give it a description. That crap was crazy. Give it a category, Skywatch report, location name. I'm in Sumter, South Carolina. So I just do a little search on here, find location, and it'll move the map dot to my hometown, and it'll fill in the location name here, as you can see. First name Jim, last name Lee. News, external link, put in a link there. You know, just grab anything. So let's go alien news object. International Space Station cuts feed. Stick that in there. External video link. You can grab a YouTube video or anything like that. So I'll just make a fake post real quick just to show you guys. So we'll copy that, put that in there, and get rid of that extra slot. You can upload your own photos, so choose a photo. Let's do the Scope X thing, and I'm going to add another one. I click plus, and I'm going to add Bill Gates in there, and put this is a test, because I'll go back and delete this later. So I do all that, and then I hit submit. And bam, I've just created a report. Sometimes it takes a little longer, especially when you're broadcasting live on the internet. But hit submit report. It'll put it on the map. All of these reports end up on ClimateViewer 3D and ClimateViewer Mobile. Thank you. Your support has been submitted to our staff. Our staff is me. Jim, are these sites run by Gov or by contractors? That's a good question. So it totally depends on the map itself. If you come to my sitemap, so I'll go to it real quick and I'll give you an example. The pollution and privacy section, what you'll realize is I created all of these maps. So atmospheric sensors and EMF sites, climate change and energy, geoengineering and weather modification, government and surveillance, nuclear radiation and waste, and transportation. So if you click on this, you'll see that I created this section. I created these maps. These maps are all local to climateviewer.org. Okay? So, you know, for instance, this is the ionospheric heater map. These are all the ionospheric heaters of the world. You can click on them. It'll show you that's HARP. Here's the one in Arecibo. Pictures, details. I'm very thorough with this stuff. Let me zoom that out just a hair. So what you want to do is, if you're looking at the site map, which I just updated to include every single map in ClimateViewer 3D, and as you can see, there are a lot. I have the world's only NSA Five Eyes Stone Ghost Surveillance Network map, among other things. All the nuclear reactors of the world, tons of stuff. Fracking America, chemical database, fracking Alaska. You know, these are maps that I created myself. The NOAA reported weather modification activities in America, cloud seeding generators all over America. This section, History and Science, is a joint effort from me and George Stiller. All of these maps are also local to climateviewer.org. They come straight from my server. Nobody else is tracking you whatsoever. So if you click on History and Science, what you'll see is this section contains maps created by George Stiller of My Reading Mapped and Jim Lee, because I had to go and edit every single one of his maps to make them work with this, and I've updated quite a few of them. And he has some pretty freaking amazing maps. Abandoned and sunken ships, ancient ruins, architecture, conquerors and wars. Like, you can go see the Civil War, Part 1 and Part 2. Disease outbreaks, explorers, geoscience and oceanography, government, green energy solutions, migrations, mountain climbing expeditions. Like the first time somebody ever climbed Mount Everest, you can see it in 3D. Plane crash sites, train crash sites, Olympics. So like I said, all of these come live from climateviewer.org, and you're not going to have to worry about, see, it's going to start out as a flat map, so you can, on each of these pages, there's a single page for every single map also. And it'll give you a description about it, maybe a couple keywords, yada yada. But it's got basic map controls, you know, where you can fly to each location. But if you switch to the 3D globe on this, and then you go base map, and you scroll down here to the bottom and you turn on the 3D terrain, what you're going to see, which is pretty epic, is that you can now look at this and actually see how they climbed the mountain in 3D. Pretty freaking fun. So that's the first ever Hillary's Mount Everest climb, 1953, and each one will tell you a little bit about it. This is where the ice fall occurred. Base camp number 1, base camp number 2, 21,000 feet, 23,000 feet, good Lord, all the way to 29,035 feet at the summit. So pretty freaking epic stuff, all in 3D. You have to turn on terrain to be able to see the mountains and stuff, but that's why I love the 3D version. And I got a pretty boss PC right now. I've got a new video card I'm pretty stoked with. So to say the least, it's got a hell of a frame rate on it. So your results may vary. But regardless, back to your question, are these some of these government stuff? So I give a warning on that on every single one of these. I'm going to skip past there. So everything that's live, where it says live alerts and weather, live NASA Gibbs satellites, and live, great day, the NASA section's huge, live other satellites. So I've got the Sims, Mimic stuff, the microwave imagery stuff, all that's built in. I have looked into Chris Haskell, Esther. I've tried to talk to him. He really didn't respond to me. I know all about his situation. I hope the best for the guy. But yeah, I asked him if he wanted to do an interview. Crickets. Go figure. Maybe he doesn't know who I am. I don't know. I'm not anybody special. Whatever. But yeah, so when you go to these sections, so say other satellites, what I've put in here is a disclaimer. And I'm going to read it to you now. This section contains live maps that are either updated every few minutes, hourly, or daily. These maps are pulled direct from different government, university, and private sources when you load them and are subject to occasional outages. Which means that I have no control over whether these show up or not, because I'm actually pulling these from a server somewhere on the internet and displaying them on the map. When viewing these maps, please consider that they are for informational purposes only, and usage may be subject to tracking by the individual providers, which is not controllable by ClimateViewer maps. If you are concerned about privacy, please use a virtual private network and avoid being tracked. If you click that link, you can get a copy of what I use, which is called ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network that encrypts your internet connection, and it keeps not only the government, the universities, any of the websites that you're viewing on the internet, but even, as you're pulling these maps, when you're reaching out to the U.S. Naval Research Lab, they can't tell who you are. So if you're wanting to stay private on the internet, you should already have a virtual private network. At the bottom of every single page, you'll see an ad for ExpressVPN, because I highly value the privacy of the individuals that come to my website, and I preach about privacy on ClimateViewer.com/privacy. So if you guys are not using a VPN, I highly suggest it. And if you're gonna use a VPN, I highly suggest you use ExpressVPN, not just because I get a cut, get a portion of your initial sale. It's not much, but I use ExpressVPN because I've tried them all. I was on NordVPN, but it's just not as fast. I mean, as you can see right now, I'm broadcasting live, and my VPN is on, and I am coming from Virginia right now. So if somebody were to check my IP address, it would not show Sumter, South Carolina. It would show that I am currently in Virginia, and that is priceless. ExpressVPN also has a no log policy, which means even if the government went to ExpressVPN and said, we want to know everything that this user was doing, they don't even log what you're doing. So a VPN is a virtual private network that creates a secure tunnel, an encrypted tunnel, between your computer and a server that is a virtual private server owned by ExpressVPN, and they get the websites for you. Same thing here. So whenever you're pulling up any of this stuff, if I go to U.S. Naval Research Lab, and then I go to any one of these maps, and let's say I go to the water vapor map, I just contacted the U.S. Navy Research Lab, because that's where this comes from. You can see right here. Map type, map source, KML. This is a KMZ file that I have on on ClimateViewer.org, but the image itself is pulled straight from the Naval Research Lab FTP site. So there's an internet connection being made there that's pulling this stuff live, and as you can see, it's live. Naval Research Lab 12/08/18. So it's updated on the fly as you pull it up. So there you go. Yes, some of this stuff does come from government and in universities and private sources. Everything in the live section does. So just to go back over that real quick, if we're on ClimateViewer 3D and I go to the map list and I hit add maps, it's going to start out by showing all of them. There are currently 573 maps on ClimateViewer 3D. If I go to alerts and weather, and let's say I want to look at earthquakes, once you click a subcategory, it'll show you a preview of all the maps. These earthquakes come from the U.S. Geological Service, so USGS. I click on that, it brings them up on the map. There's all the earthquakes from last week that are a 2.5 or greater. Click on them, they'll give you information. Click on that, it'll take you to the website. Boom. There's the information on that. Pops you up to a new window. Come back over here. There you go. So like I said, this stuff is pulled live. Anything in the live section, if it says live at the top, that means it's being pulled from another website, not mine, real time, and displayed on the map. So I hope that answers your question. Another really good one is I have the Euromed, it's from CSEM-EMSC right here, and this is a really big file. It's going to take a second to load up, but what you're going to see is this is the European version of the earthquake map, and it's completely different. So they're color coded by time, how recently they happened, and by size usually. So the bigger ones have a bigger ring. Click on them and it comes up like this. Link to event, same thing. Click on that, it'll take you to their website and show you all the information on it. And like I said, all this is pulled live. This right here says 11/27/2018, timestamps and all that stuff. So that's my earthquake map. Okay, that's just earthquakes. And you can see I also have the ocean buoys, which should be working now. Anything with a red icon on it where it says load map, that's a large map, okay? Any of the other ones, they'll load pretty quickly, but if you see a red icon, this red block right here where it says load map, that's a warning to you that this is a very big file. So if you're using this on your phone and you're being charged data rates, warning, these files could be, anywhere from 5 to 15, 20, 25 megabyte just for that file. So this is all of the buoys worldwide. So whenever you have like a big earthquake like this one right here, that's a big-ish one, 4.7. When it occurs, you can come down here and actually look at the wave height and see, right here it's a significant wave height, 17.7 feet. And you can see the tsunami as it's happening in real time. And that's why I included it in the earthquake section. So you can go through and check all of the wave heights. Basically, the Null School Wind Monitor website, which I have right here. You can go to Weather, Wind Map, and bring it up. It's built in also. Pretty cool. So whenever you're looking at this kind of data, all of this data is being pulled from the same place as I am. It's just much prettier. But nonetheless, it's still available right there in the ClimateViewer 3D thing. I got that one just when I clicked that, for some reason it popped me to a new window. I'll have to work on that. Interesting stuff. Stuff like the Helio viewer, where you can view the sun in real time. All of this stuff is being pulled live when you click it. And depending on whether or not the server itself has rules, governing this sort of thing, they may pop up to a new window, or they may show up like this. So this is all the power plants of the world, period. I think this is a really fascinating map. I just added this one today, like literally an hour ago. Live in Tucson, unable to reach him myself, and only see short updates on the channel. Point being, oh, you're talking about Chris Haskell? Yeah, I saw his latest video. He got his van back, so he seems to be doing fine to me. It looks like things are working out for him. I find it ironic that he says that he has to, speaking of Chris Haskell, he has to give a letter to his parole officer and get approval for somebody to call him, yet he can stream videos and put them out on the internet, respond to comments. It just, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. Wet surface air coolers, Jesus Christ. I have all of those mapped. You can go see them all in real, every single one of them. Me and Weather War 101 go way back to 2012, in fact. And it's been a love-hate relationship between the two of us, but I wish him no ill, of course. But you can see all of those. Just come to my pollution and privacy section. Click on climate change and energy, and you can see all of the coal power plants. You can see the coal ash ponds for all you guys talking about fly ash. What else we got in here? Concentrated solar power, that's not hurting anybody. Coal ash ponds, oil spills, and then let's see for the other ones. You got a nuclear radiation, and we scroll down here and we can turn on all the nuclear reactors of the world. Boom, 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 boom. There's all your wet surface air coolers in America. Yes, but they hide moisture streams on radar. Actually, I have both versions of it, filtered and unfiltered. The main problem I have with the whole, I guess I might as well look you in the eye for this one. So here's my deal with the wet surface air cooler thing. They're always emitting water vapor. It's not like they just magically turn them on at one point. If you're talking about a nuclear reactor, they are always cooling those reactor cores. So they're always releasing water vapor. The thing that shows, ClimateViewer.com is my blog. Right now we're on the map. It's ClimateViewer.org. Okay, and you can get there from ClimateViewer.com. ClimateViewer.com has links to all, 3 of my websites, WeatherModificationHistory.com and ClimateViewer.org. It's on the sidebar of every single page. It's on the top, on the menu. One says map, one says timeline. Click on either. And feel free to join the chat. I have a Discord chat. You guys can jump in there. So back to this wet surface air cooler thing. What I saw in the videos that he put out was that usually there was a storm front coming through, and that's when suddenly there would be massive amounts of clouds appearing on, the radar images that he was showing. So what's going on, and I've said this to him in person, never met him because he doesn't have a name or a voice, never called me once in 5 years, but harassed me on Twitter and Facebook, and we even got into it in an email. I could show you the email. It would be very embarrassing to him. But I put it straight to him in an email in front of J. Marvin Herndon, Alana Freeland, and we were all in one big email, and he was like, why you guys won't talk about wet surface air coolers? And I said, look, dude, you did a GoFundMe and you put it out there. You said that, this WISPEX thing. Here, let me see if I can even bring the email up. Why not? Full disclosure, right? Everybody likes a good inside story, so why not let this be one of those? Let's see if I've got it in my starred section, because I recently went through and I starred it. And I'll see if I can actually find it. Yep, there it is. Alright, so here we go. And as you can see, this is Alana Freeland, myself, Peter Kirby, and Matt Lamman, and G. Edward Griffith. And basically goes like this. He gives us all a tongue lashing. I don't even have it on the screen. Let me bring it up. So he gives us all a tongue lashing for not supporting his work. Okay? And, then he shows this GoFundMe global flash flood destruction thing. Okay? And it says fundraiser by Jim Smith. Is that his real name? I mean, that'd be kind of crazy. But regardless. Global flash flood destruction. And I read through this whole thing, and he was like, and there was a study in 1971. I read it all. Said, okay, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I found this. The METER program. Right here. Meteorological effect of thermal energy release. Okay, so he's got one reference out of the whole thing. So I put it to him in the email, and you can see it right here. And blow this up nice and big for you. Dear Weather War 101, your input is always welcome here. However, I think your tone is highly provocative, and this is not a competition. A few points to respond to in your first email to the group. Even if you think Harold's article is weak, and he was talking about Harold Save, be a little less insulting. Being a little less insulting will always make your message be better received. Number 2, I agree with you about the acronym. The last thing we need is anyone needs is anyone making up new jargon to confuse the F out of other people. Number 3, I agree with you that water vapor generation from power plants create clouds and affects cloud weather to a greater extent than most forms of intentional paid for weather modification. Here's my problem. What makes you think that someone is switching the water vapor generation system on and off to control weather, i.e. intentionally controlling water vapor pollution for rainfall enhancement, etc.? Do you have any documentation of intent to use water vapor generation from power plants, etc. to modify weather? If so, I will gladly add that to weathermodificationhistory.com. I read your GoFundMe and I only saw one reference, so I looked into METER. Let's see if the page still exists. Ooh, it does. So I looked up everything that he was talking about. Meteorological effects of thermal energy release, METER program, annual progress report, October 1978 through September 1979. Read the whole damn thing. And basically it's talking about how water vapor affects weather. No big surprises there. So I continue, which led me to all of these, because I actually read the whole thing, and then I went and studied up on every single reference in the thing. Winter Study of Power Plant Effects, WISP. And then you can see right here is the link for that. If you want, I'll drop these links in chat for you guys. Gosh, ooh, that was the wrong button. I hit my macro key on my gaming keyboard. So there's the first link. Here's the second link, Winter Study of Power Plant Effects. Link in the details. Once again, Oak Ridge National Lab, Union Carbide. And let's see. This is great. So the guy says, to WF Savage Advanced Nuclear Systems Project Division and H. Moses, blah, blah, blah. This was symbolized by the presence of our, blocked out, scrambled word, during the high point of the WISP effort, the important precipitation event of December 13th. Maybe he should get the credit for bringing the rain we needed so badly. So apparently they thought they thanked a guy for bringing the rain they needed to actually pull off this thing. Next up, multi-state atmospheric power production pollution study, MAP 3S, regional acidity of industrial emissions, rain. I'll just copy. If I copy it from here, maybe if I do this. Actually, let's just do this. You guys can play along at home. You won't get this info anywhere else because I've never made this public before. But needless to say, I put it to him. I said, prove your case. You prove your case, I'll sing your praises. And you can see that here. What is this? Multi-state atmospheric power production pollution study. I looked it up. I've been down that road, baby. And to boot, let's go back to ClimateViewer 3D. I have all the wet surface air coolers mapped out. If you don't believe me, there's one right there. You know, every single one of these nuclear power plants, I went and I found a photo for it and put it on there. Do you know how hard that was? 450 freaking nuclear power plants. It was not easy. Some of these don't even have them, but there's pictures of them galore. You can see all the wet surface air coolers all on one map. That's the shutdown one. Let's go to another one. Bam, bam. So yeah, and if you go to the base map and you turn on satellite view, you can actually see them. So you can scroll all the way in here and actually go take a look. I wasn't kidding. There they are. See? Back to the email because it's much more interesting right now. You brought it up. Hey, I'm an open slate, baby. We'll talk about it. The oxidation and scavenging characteristics of April rains. Oscar experiment. Give you that. Link in chat. And let's see what else there was. And this is the best one. Yeah, he didn't even have this, but regardless, this was the Great Lakes Snow Redistribution Project. And this came from a very lengthy report that I found on weather modification. This had nothing to do with him. This is just something I had from my records. And you look at, this is how much the federal government and National Science Foundation and Defense Department were paying for weather modification in America. And you see things like precipitation modification, fog and cloud modification, hail suppression, lightning modification, hurricane modification. Anyway, so I scrolled all the way through this thing, and in here I found, and I'm not gonna dig this up right now, but regardless, I've got the quote right here. So the Great Lakes Snow Redistribution Project was about lake wind effects of the wet surface air coolers and the coal-fired power plants that were putting water vapor into the sky on the west side of the Great Lakes. And everybody's probably heard of the Great Lakes snow effect by now, but basically these coal power plants, you know, nuclear power plants on this side of the lake, see the image right there, making all them big old clouds. They put a lot of water vapor up into the air, and then it travels over the lakes and ends up dumping snow on this side. Same thing over here. There's your coal-fired power plant. Contaminated coal waste. Tons of contaminated coal waste. 13,000 tons. Scroll the way in. Go take a look. There it is right there. Boom. So, I agree that yes, water vapor pollution is a problem. And coal ash is a problem. As you can see, this is my coal ash map right here. If I can get to the freaking icon, they're both right on top of each other. Wonderful. Here, let me turn the coal power plants off for a second. So I can click on this thing. Boom. Tons of coal ash. 72,466 tons of coal fly ash right there. That's what it looks like. And this stuff also blows up into the air. So all of these things are a problem, okay? And I agree, they're a problem. But what I said to the guy is, regardless, these are studies of non-intentional weather modification. And this is straight from his GoFundMe, that meter thing he talked about. The Meteorological Effects of Thermal Energy Release program, sponsored by the DOE, is a study of inadvertent weather modification effects of power plants which employ cooling towers and cooling ponds. One phase of the program was designed to study wet fall chemistry around a large power plant, as well as the temporal and spatial variability of precipitation. Earlier phases of the program were conducted at Oak Ridge and Pacific Northwest National Laboratories, but the Bureau BNL is that Bureau of Natural BNL, it's slipping my mind right now. I know what it means. Anyway, but the BNL became involved in the last field experiment period and in data analysis, which is still in progress. And you can actually read that right there. Not linked in this thing. Atmospheric Science Division report for fiscal year. Boy, I was really nosy. Apparently, Brookhaven National Laboratory. There you go. BNL. I knew I would think of it. See you later, Oregon sunshine. I know it's late, but I shall continue nonetheless. Anyway, so the meter ORNL precipitation network from design to analysis, link right there. I was like, many things affect the weather. Proving intent is a whole nother ball game. Anyway, 2 days no response. It's a private thread among peers. You have the floor. Please explain why you think water vapor pollution from power plants is intentionally coordinated. Nobody's going to repost your response. This is from February 5th of 2017. And he's deleted his website and stopped making videos months ago. So otherwise, I wouldn't even be showing this stuff right now. But regardless, he came back with a whole bunch of smart assery and absolutely no evidence. Actually, Jim, it's been 1 day. But, however, your question is a curious one. It's the equivalent of it's the equivalent of me showing you the sunrise and you asking for a document to prove that it's a sunrise. I've done 250 videos showing that this blah, 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 blah. So, at the end of the day, he talked a whole lot of, junk, linked to a couple of his videos. He's like, the only question is why you and the truth community refuse to see and acknowledge the reality staring right at you. The reason I refuse to see it is because you have not proven your case. In fact, at one point, he had me on his disinfo page. You cannot make this stuff up. Since I guess we'll show that one for the record, and then we'll get off the subject of Weather War 101. But regardless, I'll go to my Dane Wigington rant video, and I'll scroll down to the bottom where the Weather War 101 section is. And basically, Weather War 101 had made a video, Michael Murphy in his own words, on the PSYOP, Dane Wigington. This is still on the Weather War 101 channel. But regardless, where'd I put it? It's here somewhere. Dane Wigington versus Michael Murphy, Kim Moore, and Weather War 101. So it must be down here. Yep, there it is. So Dane Wigington versus Weather War 101. Don't know if you guys know that happened, but it did. So here's the web.archive.org, stuff about all that. And just for laughs, I'm going to show you guys this. Because apparently at one time, Weather War 101 claimed that I worked for Dane Wigington. Jim Lee, ClimateViewer, in his Dane Wigington company, Jim Lee, ClimateViewer, saying that I work, and there's me right there going, hey bro, call me. There's my phone number, still my phone number today. Don't let fear rule you, dude, call me. Anyway, so then he shows a whole bunch of stuff from when I was getting trolled by people I'm not going to mention. This was completely unrelated to him. But regardless, you know, he went through all of my personal business and the massive trolling that I went through, and then put me up on his shill section and said I worked for Dane Wigington. Is that the same guy that stole a bunch of your shit, Jim? Dane Wigington? Yes. And Weather War 101. If you go to original videos, like the very first, this is what really pissed him off, was when I wrote this article. I deleted it. But the HARP report and Weather War 101 don't know HARP. And anyway, I deleted the article because he cried, bitched, and moaned so much that I just deleted it. If you dig hard enough, you'll find it on Wayback Machine. But regardless, he was pretty upset about that. And then Harold Savory posted it, and, you know, there you go. So he didn't like that none too much, and got very upset about it, and the rest is kind of history. So, yeah, we've had our beefs over the year. He eventually deleted this page because he realized how freaking wrong he was. But if you go to his webpage, his YouTube channel, you can see it for yourself. In fact, I might just do that right now because it would be funny. But you can go to his videos, and you can see, if you go to the very end, sort by date added oldest. What do you see here? That's Jim Lee's maps being stolen by Weather War 101. Area 51, VOA transmitter, Delano, California, Vandenberg Air Force Base, HARP array. Wonder if that's still on ClimateViewer 3D. Want to bet? It's still on ClimateViewer 3D because I made that map. Anyway, Vandenberg Air Force Base array. Still there, new icon. But regardless, when he first started out, he went and took a whole lot of my maps. And you can see it in his video. I'll just go back to you and point it out again. But, you know, he took a whole lot of my maps, and that's all he talked about was HARP rings coming out of NEXRAD stations. And, you know, he was using a lot of the data sources that I had available on ClimateViewer 3D. And, you know, I didn't take it too well, that's what he was doing. But he, at some point, switched from talking California NEXRAD KVBX HARP ring activity. So, for those who don't know the history, me and Weather War 101 and Dutch Sense talked about HARP rings. And I busted Dutch Sense's balls for calling them HARP at all. And Weather War 101 jumped on the bandwagon. He called them HARP rings also. And now, you know, Dutch doesn't talk about HARP rings. He talks about earthquakes. I wish Dutch, you know, would still talk about weather modification. We were cool at one time. But regardless, you know, that's what the guy did. So his very first videos You know, this is dated 9/10/11, so 2011. It's only got 1,000 views. He was stealing my maps and not giving credit. So I'm just saying, you know, it. And now, you know, then he went on to, you know, berate me about not talking about water vapor coming out of all of these freaking power plants, which I mapped. It's just silly. So what I see in the wet surface air cooler videos that he has is cloud seeding at its most basic. The water vapor is always there. In comes a storm front. The storm front is filled with dust, pollen, mold, bacteria, metals, all the things you need to create a cloud. So, whereas the water vapor was already there coming out of all of these, let me get the coal ash stuff off there so we're not confusing everybody. Let's turn those back on, turn those back on. So that's the coal power plants and the nuclear power plants. And there are more than that, okay? So just so we're clear. And the water vapor is coming out of them all the time. It's just not always visible. So when I see his videos, I see a storm front come through and then bam, clouds everywhere. So what's happening is you got a whole lot of cloud seeds and dust that's being kicked up from the ground from ground winds. You guys have been in a storm front that's come through. And as all of those aerosols hit this stream of water vapor, what do you think happens? It makes clouds. So to me, it was just never really a, you know, all I asked him for was proof. If you can prove to me that one power company called one other power company and said, hey, let's turn our wet surface air coolers on together at the same time now, or any government, you know, and he was like, well, oh, of course you got to have a paper to prove that the sun's coming up. I could point at the sun and go, the sun's coming up, but you would want a documented paper. No, this is not the same. We're talking about intent. If you're going to prove that people are intentionally controlling the weather with wet surface air coolers, then you better have something to back that statement up. Other than what I see on your videos, which is a storm front running into a stream of water, making a cloud, and all this scary ass music you got playing in the background. So anyway, that's just the way I see it. You know, I'm always looking for new evidence. You guys know me. That's what weathermodificationhistory.com is about, is just the facts. And, you know, like I said, it's on ClimateViewer.org. It's on weathermodificationhistory.com. It's on ClimateViewer.com. If you go to the bottom of the page, what you're going to see on every single one of these pages, on every single article I've got written, is the same thing. Damn it. Scroll down. All right, here we go. Same thing. All maps, imagery, and content on ClimateViewer.org is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial 4.0 International CC by NC 4.0 license. If you click on that, it is very explicit in what that means. Where'd it go? Right here. You are free to share, copy, and redistribute this material in any medium or format, adapt, remix, transform, or build upon this material. But, under the following terms, you must give appropriate credit, provide a link to the license, and indicate if changes were made. You may do so in any reasonable manner, but not in any way that suggests the licensor endorses you or your use. Non-commercial, you may not sell our material. Example, Matt Lamon took a whole bunch of pictures from weathermodificationhistory.com. I'll show you real quick. And we have this newspaper section, okay? So we come here, we go to the news vault, all right? Now, all of these came from different newspaper sources, but regardless, Dominic recreated these. He literally went to page 3B and took the paragraph and put it all into one image so that it's one image where you can read the whole damn thing. So what did Matt Lamon do? He went and he scrubbed the watermarks off of our freaking pictures and put them in his documentary film. And then sold that film, which is against the law. Furthermore, he didn't even credit us when he did it. So technically, at any moment, and I've had to talk Dominic down several times from suing Matt Lamon for making a documentary film using our stuff without permission when it's Creative Commons non-commercial attribution. It's free. All you got to do is say where you got it from. I mean, is that so freaking hard? But that didn't stop me from putting his documentary right on weathermodificationhistory.com. Frankenskies, right there. You can play it. And you can see our work in it. And like 90% of this documentary came from my freaking website. But regardless, it's somewhere in here. I could find it, but I don't want to bore the hell out of you guys. Oh, Lord. Anyway, he made a great documentary. It's great all the way up till about the part where he starts talking. Oh, there it was. There was one of them. I just saw it. Here's some of our work. But regardless, there's a bunch of newspapers in here. It was near the beginning. And, you know, he just scrubbed the watermarks off. I couldn't even freaking believe my eyes when I saw it. I was like, did he really just do that? Yes, he did really just do that. And this has been the case, you know. There you go. Stuff like that. That's actually History Channel. Never mind. Regardless, that video was dug up on there. Now I'm getting boring. Screw it. But regardless, watch the film. You'll see our newspaper articles, and you'll see that no fucking credit. So, I mean, I'm used to it. I'm not worried about it. My whole purpose is to get as much truth out there as possible. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the wet surface air cooler thing is dead ski to me because, I mean, it's water vapor. And it comes out of power plants. And it comes out every single day. And it always has. And it always will. And occasionally, it's going to make a buttload of clouds because it takes just a couple things to make clouds. 3 things. Water vapor, which comes out of the wet surface air coolers. Cloud seeds. That's part 2. So you got water vapor, cloud seeds. Cloud seeds. What's up, Mike? Homeboy. I gotta call you because I'm trying to like make a big list of stuff to put in my Earth monitor thing, man. And I want to get every single link you got because I've already got most of it in there. I got the wind map. I got Venture Sky. It's a pretty dope one. It's a little better than WindMap in my opinion because it does everything WindMap does plus even more. Got the ship tracking, plane tracking, all that stuff. I'm not even showing it, damn it. Major fail there. I'm staring at my other monitor just talking to you guys. So check it out, homeboy. Worldview built into ClimateViewer.org. Boom. Ship tracking, marinetraffic.com. Don't you take your time on me. I'm live. It's a pretty big website. I gotta give them credit though. Loads pretty fast for all the data they're trying to load. Is it gonna load? There we go. All the boats in the ocean. Click on the boat. Most of them have a picture. Cargo vessel for full access. Pay us. Pay us. So wrong. That's why I have more than one. Stuff in space. This one's one of my particular favorites. Look at that junk. Oh, that's cool. Wish you guys could see it on my other monitor. I got a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor now. It's so damn sexy. So sexy. And it shows the actual orbit of any one of these if you just hover over it. Pretty cool. And there's the big ring. Geocentric ring. Geostationary orbits. Space junk. You can type in Westward needles. It'll show you all the westward needles that are still in space. Pretty badass. So yeah, this is the new improved Earth monitor. Hey, check this out. This is shipping track routes. Just added this one today. Oh yeah. Very cool. You can see all the different shipping routes where you're most likely to see the ship tracks. Not a lot going up here. I wonder why. It's because all that ice that was supposed to have melted a couple of years ago. Aerogel. That's another video, dude. Definitely another video, man. I got really sidetracked with the Weather War 101 stuff. Exactly. I don't know how they launch rockets without hitting all of that stuff. There's so much space junk. It's like the movie Wall-E. But regardless, Mike, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow and go through all of the stuff that you have, because I got a bunch of junk on here now. This is a really good one if you haven't seen it. World's Air Pollution Real-Time Air Quality Index. I actually had this mapped out, and for some reason it wasn't working when I tried it locally. And maybe it's because I'm running it on my computer. I'll put it back up, but this is the World Air Quality Index, WAQI. And it's pretty freaking epic. You can click on the links. It'll take you to each of the individual stations and all that stuff. Their website's kind of slow. Everything's kind of slow when you're broadcasting. You know how it is. But there you go. Take you to the station, give you PM 2.5, PM 10, and weather information. Pretty cool. And show it to you over time. And that is Willamette Activity Center. Interesting stuff. Oak Ridge Lane. So yeah, that's my air quality monitor built in. Close that down. I got flight tracking in there. All that stuff. All that fun stuff. All in one spot. So to access this, it's on every single page of ClimateViewer's website. You just come up here and you click on Earth Monitor. And it'll pop up the window and you can dig in, go through all those. Like I said, guys, if you guys will send me any links that I don't already have, I'm already going to harass Mike into giving up everything he's got because I want to put them all in one spot. They'll all be right here. Mike, I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's pretty badass. Check it out. This is my super sexy Go 16 viewer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff in here. I've got, earthquake 3Ds built in. If you want to play with that one instead. Even though I've got, most of this information is already in the map itself. The NASA firm's fire map, the actual one from the Gov. You can go in here and check those out. I have them mapped as well. I'll give an example. You come over here, go to ClimateViewer 3D, go to Add Maps, go to Live Alerts, Volcanoes and Fires, and you can see there's all of the fires from around the world. And Africa is always on fire because guess what? Yeah, I know. I got Go 17 on there also. And I got smoke detection here. And I got volcanoes up here. So you can actually see like the live volcanoes. Go to base maps. Scroll to the bottom. Hit 3D terrain. Click on this little icon right here. And you can actually fly to each of the volcanoes. I'm on the black map again. Let me go up here to aerial. Put on the satellite. And you can actually see the volcanoes in 3D. Hooty hoo! Click on the icon, it'll tell you about the volcano, when it started erupting and everything. Monitor your world, people. It's all in one spot, free of charge. That's what I built it for. I hope that you guys will use it. I'm constantly improving it daily, working on new ways to make it cooler. It's a volcanic island. Ooh, cool. Pretty. Doesn't look very scary. Krakatoa. What? When did it get active? November 28th through December 4th. Ongoing activity. We don't want that one to blow up, that's for sure. But anyway, so go fly back to the USA, see if we got any smoke detection. We got smoke detection over here in Florida. The hell is going on over in Florida? Let's look at the satellite real quick. I don't see anything. Let's check the other satellite. And let's fade between the two. Anyway, I don't see anything. They got smoke detection. Got a lot of chemtrails. Damn, that's a lot of chemtrails. Is that on the aqua? Yeah. Lots of chemtrails. Jesus. That's that snowstorm you were talking about, brah man. Coming our way, quick. Gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's a bunch. All over the Atlantic. And I'm right about here, where this smoke detection is. What the hell's going on there? Don't like it. Got a lot out here in the Gulf also. Did you see all these tonight, man? Holy Jesus. What's really cool is the 367 band, the one that highlights the ship tracks. Let's see what that looks like. When we go and look at that. Ah, they're not that thick. But you can see the thicker parts of the aerosols whenever you look at the 367 band. Nice rib bone action out here. Lots of lee waves. Something's up. See, those are visible. Those are some seriously thick freaking chemtrails for them to be visible on the 367 band. And go do a quick check for some ship tracks. Nice vortex there. It's a really big one. I don't see anything crazy off the bat. And China's pollution shows up really well on the 367 band. What do we got going there? Nappy. Very nappy. Anyway, I could do this for another hour. So, guys, I've been playing with the ClimateViewer 3D. I did fix... Oh, the last video I made, I had a problem. If you want to clear all this out, the very top where it says Active Maps, there's a trash can icon. You click that, boom, everything's gone. You're back to normal, blank slate, all that stuff. Minimize that. It's back to the way you started. Click Map List. That's how you bring it up. So I'm going to go over here real quick, and I'm going to show you guys the Doppler radar thing that I fixed, which I'm pretty stoked about because it wasn't operating properly the other day. Come down here to Doppler radars. If you guys want to do it another way, you can go Show All, and I can just type in Doppler, and it'll show you all the Doppler radar stuff that I have. So I'm actually going to turn on the rainfall stuff here, and I'm going to turn on the next red Doppler stations, and I'm going to turn on the terminal Doppler weather radar and the joint surveillance system, the iOS, and the Canadian Doppler radars. And where's the JSS at? Did I already click it? Joint surveillance system. FAA long range. Let's just type in joint surveillance. JSS. There it is. I need to put Doppler on that as a tag. That should have been there. Anyway, there they are. So that's all the Doppler radars in America. I'm going to go put it back on. And if you guys don't believe me, come down here, scroll down. There will always be a hole in the middle of the radar data. You scroll right down to the ground. There's the Doppler radar. I went and I found them all because they were not. Hey, I appreciate that, Zip Fry. Thank you much. Rarely get that. And you can click on radar animation right here. So let me bring this out of full screen real quick. Click radar animation. And it should take us straight to the COD website and work now. And work now. Look at that. Beautiful bean footage. Boom. I don't even have to go to College of DePage to do it. I have already enabled. I have it enabled. It's like, will you enable the Adobe Flash Player, bra man dude? So what's really cool about this is I've got two different versions of the same stuff. So if I don't want to delete these off the map, but I just want to turn them off temporarily, you can click the little eyeball icon, and I can get rid of those, and I can get rid of the blue ones, and I can get rid of the yellow ones, and then because it makes it much cooler looking, I'm going to make it black again, and that'll help me see the radars. Okay, so there's two different radars here. Wrong one. Let's turn this one off. This is what they show you on the Weather Channel. Okay? And this is what you're normally seeing, Mike, whenever you're doing your broadcast. And this is what's also on the College of DePage. So let me minimize this for now, and let's go full screen. So what you're not seeing is all this other stuff. Watch this. Now I'm going to turn up the base reflectivity. Laser beams. See the laser beams? Weatherchannel.com. Unfiltered. Weatherchannel.com. Blank as a slate out here. Not a thing going on, right? Unfiltered. Look at that crap. Weatherchannel.com. Isn't that crazy? So this is the filtered, what they call level 2 data. Okay? It's not going to show you all the actual returns from the next rads. But I have both versions, and they can't really screw with that. So I can turn this up, and I can even make it black and white if I wanted to. Like go like this, turn the saturation down, turn the contrast up, make it brighter, make it darker. I got a lot of sliders. They're fun. Makes it lots of fun. Anyway, so more saturation means brighter colors, offsets. Come over here, see the laser beam. Not on the Weather Channel. It is on ClimateViewer.org. Click on that. Let's go see if it's on College of the Page. Boo, boo. Let's go 48. And there they are. Pew, 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 pew. Let's go 200. Yeah, I know. I have too much fun with this stuff. I mean, I really have too much fun. Oh, what's that? What's that down there? Do you see that? Flock of seagulls. Huh, Mike? Anyway. Let me close these other tabs. I got too many tabs open. So yeah, that's how I look at it. I go through and do that. And then also on Earth Monitor, if you go down here to weather, you know, I've got the Conus animation right here where you can see the little blinkety blink 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 blinks, and it's animated. I've got the College of the Page one, the National Weather Service enhanced one, which is the really big one. I can't zoom that. What am I doing? But you actually have to scroll across to see it's so damn big. Eventually I'm going to actually like plaster this right on the map. But it shows it all moving. The National Mosaic. And yeah, you can see the laser beams on that one. Pew, pew, pew. Going back. What else we got? Rutgers. Different location. Animation, Midwest South. Like I said, Mike, I want to get every single one you got, dude, and I'm going to put them on there, and that way I have them all in one spot. And eventually I'll start doing a real-time, go through and just check the weather kind of thing, but I'm so busy adding new things every day. This is one of the coolest ones. I don't know if you've ever seen this thing before. It's called the Integrated Space Weather Analysis System. It's one of my favorite toys ever. What it does is it's got all of the different instruments available worldwide, all in one spot, from like magnetic field lines. You can place them wherever you like. You can resize them. See, it's still got my last setup stored. Let me close some of this out. I was looking at that HARP, related quake thing to try to see if there was any correlation whatsoever. But nothing going on there. Let me close this. Actually, let's bring that over here. So up here at the top where it says, the different categories, you can go like heliosphere, magnetosphere, ionosphere, planetary spacecraft. It's got the Enlil cone stuff. So if you wanted to see like, like solar flares coming in, it's got the stereo B, all that stuff that's on the HelioViewer. Heliosphere. Let's go Enlil model. Go back here, Enlil cone. I don't want stills, I want a movie. Show me something. Oh, that's an old one. Wrong one. Planetary spacecraft, Enlil model cone. There we go. So you can take this thing and you can blow it up kind of big, and you can hit play, or you can go animation. And if we have any kind of big solar flares or anything, you'll see them burp out of the sun and coming our way. And it shows it from 3 different angles. So this is a really cool tool for space weather. One of my favorites. Lots of different versions of that. Inner planets, density pressure planets. And that's the one with the Earth on it, right there. But of course, right now we don't have any major flares coming, so it's kind of boring. But that's the interplanetary magnetic field line right there, and you can see it spinning around and all that stuff, and it's got it marked. Earth is right here, the yellow dot in each of these. That's us. Our little speck of dirt in the universe. Anyway, that's the integrated space weather, integrated space web application, and it's in the space weather section. So, like I said, right here at the top, it says submit a link by email. If you click that, it'll pop up an email which will say Earth Monitor link submission. Please add this link to the Earth Monitor menu on ClimateViewer.org, and then just drop me a link. I'd greatly appreciate any additions you guys can find. I've already got everything on there from human trafficking to, fires, disease outbreaks, oil and chemical spills. I'm trying to put as much in there as possible. Going to continue to work on this thing forever because it's just too damn much fun, for me personally. And yeah, I got to get up early too. It's midnight 40 on the East Coast. So I'm going to try to do some videos a little earlier in the evening. But, like I said, I'm constantly working on this stuff. So I have way more fun making the website than making the videos. But I promise you guys I'll try to do a little bit more of that. I hope you guys will continue to support my work. Everything you saw is free of charge. And like I said, it's Creative Commons. All you got to do is, if you want to use any of this stuff, is download it, put it on your website, share it, link to it. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you support me on patreon.com/ClimateViewer or a one-time donation on PayPal or GoFundMe, that's greatly appreciated as well. I'm going to continue to work on this bad boy because it's too much fun. And I hope that you guys will spread the word about ClimateViewer.org. It's a labor of love. I've put, 7 years into it so far. And, use it to attack ideas, not people, because that's important these days. There's way too many people attacking people. I disagree with a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to pick up a bat and try to bash them over the head because I don't like what they're saying. And there are a lot of people out there doing exactly that. So try to be, hold your head high. Realize that this noggin was given to you for a reason, and learn as much as possible, because this video will be saved automatically. So as soon as I'm done and I stop streaming, it'll process and it'll be available on my YouTube channel. If you haven't been able to find it before, right now you're watching the video, click on my little head there, and please, subscribe, hit the little bell. I greatly appreciate it. And love you guys, mean it.